Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are joined by our Professional of the Year. Congratulations again to Tina
Thank
Wankey for
you.
joining
Thank-
us. She's the
Yes.
founder of Roots of Healing, and we're going to talk to her more today about the work she does in helping people reclaim power over their own health and so much more. So, first and foremost, let's welcome back Miss Tina Wankey. How are you?
I am good. Glad to be back. It's enjoyable to be here.
Well, thank
And
you.
yes, yeah, looking forward to sharing today's topic.
Which now you teased it. You got to tell us quick.
Yeah.
What is it going to be about?
It's going to be about the healing power of sound. So we're going to be talking about tuning
Tuning
forks.
forks. All right, good. But before we
Yeah.
get to tuning forks, we have to
Yeah.
establish a little bit about you. I know because
Yes.
I've been speaking to you for quite some time, which is great,
Yeah.
but sometimes new listeners out there. So let me also tell them rootsofhealing.org. That is the best form of contact for you.
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. And tell us a little bit about the work you do, and then we'll get into the tuning fork conversation for sure.
Yeah, so I'm a holistic therapist and wellness coach. So I have a very well-rounded approach to helping people heal. And I want to help people reclaim power over their health because sometimes we feel like we're lost or we're not getting answers, we're not getting solutions, and we're feeling frustrated. And I feel that's such a common feeling people have many times. So I really want to help people be able to get to a better place. And what I've done over the years is I found that there are different modalities in that can help. And I kind of think about it like a recipe. My mom used to, she was always tweaking recipes and everything and trying different things. And what I discovered is that I'm doing the same thing in my work is I started out as a therapist and then I started discovering how nutrients impact mental health. And then I started looking at um, hypnotherapy and sound healing and energy work, Reiki, looking at, your nutrition and everything and how it impacts your physical and mental health state. So, and tuning forks has been something that's come around more recently that I'm super excited about in the sound healing area.
Ooh, I don't even really know
Yeah.
what tuning forks are. I can't wait to learn and
Yeah.
see. I see the visuals for those of
Yeah.
you who are just on the
I got
podcast.
you.
We're on the Zoomcast, but she
Yes.
does have them here. So tell us all about it, please.
Yeah, yeah. So, just a little bit, I'm going to talk a little bit about the history and everything around
Sure.
sound healing because a lot of people think it's more something that's more recent, more modernized and everything. But actually, sound healing goes back like BC, 2,500 years before Christ for BC. And so people have used it, different religions have used it, Greeks. There's just so many different people who have used it, Indians,
Mm-hmm.
Africa and Egypt. Like sound is a part of a lot of things that people have done in the past and cultures and everything. And it's done through instruments. There's many different types of instruments that people have used
Okay.
that, in the years and everything. So it's really been around for a long time. And they've used it just not just for emotional, like it sounds pretty to hear, but it's because of that emotional impact and how it affects our mental health, but then also for the physical aspect. So it really has been around for a very long time, just in different forms. And now, if you want to refer to it as modern society, there's been ways that we've been able to create those sounds, those frequencies, and everything to impact us, to help us with our health, physical and emotional health. So through the years, even if you think about like monks chanting, chanting the Om and that, like that impact that it has on you when you listen to that. If you meditate or you don't, and you just hear that sound, it just has an impact on us. And songs, like everybody has songs that they like. And when you listen to a song, it can have, it can literally make you feel like really excited, and you can feel really, like uplifted and like, okay, like you're energized and ready to go. Or it can really hit you like in a soft spot too, something that really hits you emotionally that you can relate to. So the music sounds, they influence us. Those frequencies, they hit us. And actually, our skin picks up sound and everything. So you think like when you get goosebumps, when you get that feeling,
Yes.
yeah, you just get that. That's your skin sensing those vibrations and reacting to it. It's hitting home, on that emotional level and everything. So really, our body does have a reaction to those sounds and everything. So it's a neat thing to look at and explore that. I think people need to know more about and to really experience it to understand the impact that it has on its body.
Ooh.
So for me, because I have a hearing loss and I wear hearing aids. And so when I hear music, I thought about this when I was just recently, when I was in New York last week and we were at a show. So sometimes there'll be like some shows, some theaters, I can't quite hear as well. So there'll be some things that I'm not fully hearing. But the funny thing I notice is I'm still sensing from the emotion that the actors are doing. Like I
Okay.
sense those feelings, even if I'm not fully understanding something that's being said. I still sense it and feel it. The music, I still sense it and feel it, and still have the same reaction that other people are having to that music because I'm getting it on that energy level, that feeling
Yeah.
level. I can feel that coming in, even if I'm not fully understanding the words that are being said at all times. So it's interesting. It was something that I just noticed last week and paid attention a little bit to more of that aspect for myself. So really, if you just like you close your eyes and you just hear music and you're not hearing words, you still get an impact from it,
Yeah.
because not all music has words to it. It's just the orchestra, it's just the sound. So really, if you think about it on that level, a lot of people can relate to that and understand that a little bit more. So I want to talk about like just lightly talking about like frequencies for emotions, for beliefs, for health issues. And then I want to dive into the tuning forks and how like tuning forks were originally used and how
Okay.
they're connected to the body. So with emotions, with the frequencies, and I have a long list over here. So like shame is a really low frequency feeling that people have, and then guilt is alongside it. So shame is at a frequency of 20 hertz, so it's just a very low
Okay.
vibration. Okay. And if you look on the opposite end of the spectrum and you look at something like joy, that's 540 hertz.
Okay.
So there's a huge difference, from something that can make us feel really, really low. And you do feel low when you have those like that shame, that guilt, grief, things like that. You feel heavier. And then when you feel joy, you feel love, you feel higher, like you feel lighter, you feel free. And it's the frequency that's vibrating within your body when you're experiencing those type of emotions.
Okay.
And
Wow.
health is the same, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to, well, I'll go to the beliefs first. So like if you have a belief of I'm unworthy of love, that vibrates at that same frequency of 20
I got
hertz, like
goosebumps with
shame.
that one, Tina.
Did
Ooh,
you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So there can be like, I'm not good enough is like at 30 hertz is what they find. But then when you go up to the more positive ones, like I love myself unconditionally, that's back up there at that 500 hertz. So there's really a difference in those vibrations that happen, those frequencies that happen. And just being aware of that and really tuning into yourself and how you feel when you're experiencing those emotions, those beliefs that you have about yourself, so that you can just recognize it and say, okay, yeah, I'm feeling like I'm vibrating at a lower frequency, and maybe I need to do something that's going to, increase that vibration. So maybe turning to music, to songs that are more uplifting for you. And like I said, I'll be talking about the tuning forks and how those can help because it
Sure.
can really be beneficial to get like regular sessions of tuning fork sessions in and sound healing modalities. So then when it comes to health issues, So health issues like a common cold, like everybody, I'm pretty sure everybody's experienced a common cold. You know, you feel drained, you feel down. That's actually like around 58 hertz. So it's a little higher than those feelings of shame or guilt or feeling unworthy of love, but it's still on that lower end. And then, like, as you start getting into some of those more serious health issues like Lyme's disease or cancer, cancer vibrates at that 42 hertz level. And
Really?
then, yeah, and then Lyme disease. So, like, a lot of people don't see, like, physically, they don't see something's wrong with someone when they have Lyme's disease. Like, someone might say they have it, but they might not outwardly be able to see what's happening. That's at 40 hertz. So it actually resonates lower than what cancer is. And I
Wow.
mean, you think about the turmoil that cancer causes in the body, that, Lyme's disease is right around there. And so is like chronic fatigue syndrome.
That's amazing.
So,
We could figure this
yeah,
out this way.
I know. Yeah. It's very interesting to see how they find these things out. And then Alzheimer's, like Alzheimer's is becoming
Mm-hmm.
more and more present. They're actually saying like it's a type 3 diabetes is what they're referencing it
Okay.
as. So, and that resonates at 50 hertz. So it's just interesting to see the research that they've done and the connections that they've made, to your physical health, and then looking at, how can you address and support your body in the best way possible. So
Got
when
it.
it comes to mental health too, there's just like I said with some of those emotions and everything, like we can't discount our mental health. We really do have to pay attention to it.
All right.
So just I just wanted to give an idea of what those frequencies are at, so you kind of can have numbers in that to know, where they vibrate at, and then being able to connect to it when you're maybe experiencing those things yourself.
Sure.
Yeah. So history about tuning forks. So tuning forks, and I think this is so funny. I don't know if my dad will ever listen to this, but I told my dad I was doing tuning fork training. He's like, "Oh, well, that's
Ah,
interesting. You're into tuning forks, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I told him I had a session, and he goes, "Oh, you got to go tune somebody's piano?" And I'm like, "No."
oh, how cute. Oh my
And I'm
goodness.
like, yeah, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh, I guess that makes sense because tuning forks were used to tune pianos. So what happens is when you're tuning a piano, and I don't know all the details, but you use a tuning fork, that sound, you tune the piano to it. So as you're having that tuning fork sound going,
Okay.
you're tightening or loosening, if I'm understanding it correctly,
Okay.
to get the sound to resonate with that tuning fork because it's a pure sound.
Okay.
So it's not a change like a piano sound may. So tuning forks were used for that. And then they started to realize and started connecting using tuning forks with the body, with the frequencies. So when someone,
Oh,
so when someone, um, so this is a unweighted tuning fork, and
okay.
it makes a sound, and you should be able to hear it if I got all my settings correctly. So this is just one of the tuning fork sounds.
Wow.
Is that coming across?
Yeah. Oh,
Or
loud and
okay,
clear,
it
Tina.
is. Okay, okay. So what happens is the body is tunes into that tuning fork. So
Okay.
just like a person's tuning a piano to the sound of the tuning fork, our body, what happens is it hears the sound and then starts to resonate to it. So it's called entrainment. So it's like if you have two metronomes and you set them and they're going at different paces, they will actually synchronize
Hmm.
to each other on their own. So the human body will actually synchronize to the sound that you're hearing in the tuning fork and then start to vibrate that way. So one of the tuning forks is it's a 528, and this one is about like DNA repair, and it's like the frequency of love.
Okay.
So when someone hears the sound of a 528, it's a higher pitch,
Yeah.
and the other one was a lower pitch. But when you hear that 528, and you continue to hear that, your body will start to resonate with it and start to vibrate at that frequency. So all of our organs are like that in the sense. So like if you get sick, you can kind of think about it like being out of tune. That
Yeah.
illness creates a frequency, so it's out of tune in the body.
Okay.
And then tuning forks can help get the body to start resonating to the frequency it should vibrate at, to a
Wow.
healthier frequency. So yeah, it's such an interesting thing. And when you experience it, you can feel that difference. So you just heard a couple of a couple of the
Yeah.
tuning fork frequencies to hear what they sound like, but there's a range of different frequencies that tuning forks will be at, to that higher pitch, to a little bit, to that lower pitch, just to get the body, depending on what's going on, what it needs to come back to.
And like
So
we are here today, you can help me with the tuning fork over Zoom.
yep, yeah, we can totally do it over Zoom.
Okay.
And some people, like you can be involved in the session, or I can even do it where you're not present for it, and I will
Okay.
just let you know what came up and everything. So it's truly can be done distance wise. So you don't necessarily even have to hear the
Uh-huh.
frequency, because that frequency can, like, it's just like I'm visualizing that you're here, you're on the table. I set up crystals to mark different chakra areas, so I can focus in that way. And people still have results. They still are able to sense that result. But it's always neat to have the person there, because as I'm doing a biofield tuning
Yeah.
session, then I say, okay, this is coming up. Like, what happened at this age? Is there something at this age that resonates with you? And people will say they might remember something, and sometimes we don't remember things that have happened to us, so it might
True.
be something they don't remember, but we can still clear whatever distortion is there. If it was a trauma, if it just was something that had happened, and like I said, you just don't remember it, but it still had an impact on you.
Cool.
So yeah, so the Zoom is great because it really does allow for more people to be able to receive sessions in that without having to be in a physical space. That's
And
for
would
sure.
would you mind
Yeah.
just reminding us how we can contact you? Share your
Yeah.
website. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's rootsofhealing.org. And you can also contact me through my phone number, which is 920-277-6738. And if you do choose to go to my website, there's a form on there that you can fill out, and it will email me, and then I'll get your information and your questions, and we can connect that way.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Let's continue. This is fascinating. I've never really
Yeah.
seen a tuning fork, so this is
Yeah.
all new to
Yeah.
me. I'm loving it.
Yeah. So there's different ones. There's a weighted tuning fork, and
Okay.
this one you won't hear. So this
Let me
one,
see.
I don't even know if you're gonna.
Well,
Well, it's
I heard a little vibration. Hold on. Was that?
yep. That was, yeah. You might hear a little bit
Okay.
of a vibration, but with weighted tuning forks, you can use those on the body. So if
Okay.
someone is in person, and let's say they have a shoulder that's bothering them, you can take and use a weighted tuning fork, and then we can put it on whatever spot that is, and it sends the vibration down
Yeah.
into the body. And the weighted forks just makes it a stronger vibration. So then it can travel down better and into the body versus an unweighted fork.
Uh,
And one of the other things that you can do, this is actually called a sonic slider. So through my biofield training, they have this wonderful gadget. I love it. And you can use it, you can put this handle on the bottom and use it on your body, like
Okay.
almost like a massage. And you can use it wherever you
Hmm.
want, wherever you just might need it to kind of roll along the body. So you can use it personally on yourself. And it's just soothing. It's literally like a vibrational massage with the weighted tuning forks.
Oh,
So, okay, so now with the tuning forks, like I said, there's many different tuning forks that are out there, and there's certain hertzes that I end up using and kind of going to, but there's a wide range of different ones that I
okay.
can use. And some, like there's one that's a 174, and a 174 is like a workhorse. So this is really getting down into the deep stuff. So I just take and I look at what does the person need? What am I sensing? What feels, what feels right for a sound that I feel like they need? And then that's the sound that I go to.
Okay.
So many different reasons for people wanting to use tuning forks. And there's also reasons why we wouldn't use tuning forks, because there are some cases where we would not use tuning forks. But in the broad sense of thinking about, okay, what would I be coming to you for to experience a tuning fork session? And it can be pretty much anything of a physical issue. It can be a mental health issue, just feeling off, like you're just feeling like, "Oh, I just feel like I'm off, something doesn't feel right." That would be a reason. It could be that simple. Like, I don't know what it is, but I want to try this out and see. And what happens is people will notice they'll notice shifts happening. So like their body might feel lighter, like, oh, I feel looser. I feel like I have more movement, I feel more uplifted, I feel more at peace. There might be different things that different people will experience. It all depends on the person and what's going to happen with that individual.
Wow.
Now, if someone was coming to me and I would need to say no to, like, if someone has active cancer, like there's, something on a very serious health level issue that's going on, then we need to talk about that and see what are they looking for, because we're not looking at curing
Curing
things,
it, but
you know.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but we can support the body, like feeling more at peace. So there can be different things, but if there's metal in the body, that's another one. Dental wise too, because it is a frequency. So then you have that metal and you have a frequency, so it can feel uncomfortable. So we
Interesting.
look at that, and then if someone's pregnant, we wouldn't be doing a tuning fork session. If there's any electrical medical implants,
Oh, like a
and then,
defibrillator, pacemaker? No.
yep,
Or okay.
anything like that. Yep, yeah. And it's just precautions. It doesn't mean something bad would happen. It's just like precautions, so we just take a health history to see what's going on. Would this be appropriate or not? But like I said, a lot of people benefit from it. And they're,
Yeah.
from a very wide range of things that they might be struggling with.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. And
Yeah.
we still got 3 more minutes left in the show. Um, wow. This is fascinating. How do you know what someone needs, you know?
Yeah, well, there's
Uh,
kind of like a general approach for the process. So then when we're going through, as we're getting into the biofield, as we're getting into the session, then it's starting to identify what that person needs based on what's coming up. So it's really not necessarily something we know right away. Like if someone says there's a particular issue that's going on that they want to address, then we just set the intention of wanting to address that issue that is going on. And we still see what comes up when we're going through the biofield, where there's spots where that energy is disrupted, and then just getting it to resonate with the tuning fork and clear it out. So really is personalized as to what's going to happen. And truly it's just going through the session and seeing what comes up and what happens.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you for this. If we want to reach
Yeah,
out to you, could you share, of course, all forms of contact and how it works to start working with you?
yeah, yes. So again, rootsofhealing.org. And there's a form on there you can fill out, and I will get an email with your information and we can connect from there. And then you can also contact me via phone, 920-277-6738. And then what happens is we just talk about, okay, what's going on? What are the issues? What are the struggles, to see, is this going to be beneficial for you or not. In case you fall into one of those categories where we can't do it, then I might direct you in a different
Yeah.
direction for maybe a different modality.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Great to see you
Yes.
on the
Yes, you
Zoom
too.
and here on the podcast,
Yeah.
of course. And how did you want to leave off for everyone? Any words of wisdom, Tina, today?
Yeah, just take care of yourself. Good
Yeah.
self-care allows for you to have the best life you can have. So, do things that are going to put you in a good place, that's going to help your body be healthy. And check out the tuning forks because it might be the thing for you.
All right. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you back and looking forward to
Yes,
next week. Are we back on?
yes,
All right.
we
Sounds good.
are. Yep.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
I got a whole new education here.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.